Next, we'd like to turn to, I don't know if it's Senora or Senorita. Senora? Rodríguez de Valle. You're recognized for 5 minutes.
A disaster within a disaster.
One moment, please. Just press a button there. You'll be
Thank
fine.
you. I'll start again. A disaster within a disaster. That is what the 8 densely populated communities along the Caño Martín Peña and others that were already under environmental distress prior to Irma and Maria have been experiencing since the hurricane struck. The 25,000 U.S. citizens living along the eastern half of the Martín Peña tidal channel already feared rain. They knew about flooding. An average of twice a year, heavy rainfall translated into severe floods with wastewater. Accounts of raw sewage coming out of the shower and toilets, or of waking up in the middle of the night to a wet bed and water to your knees and waist were common. They knew having to dry a wet mattress in the sun to have somewhere to lay down to sleep at night. They also knew disease. The prevalence of gastrointestinal disease in the Caño was of 31% in 3 months, compared to 20% in a full year for Puerto Rico. 44% of the children 5 years of age and under living close to the Caño had asthma. People had experienced the dengue fever, Zika, and chikungunya epidemics. There had been reports of leptospirosis, a disease transmitted mainly by contact with the urine of rats and other animals, and which can be fatal. The Martín Peña Channel stretches for 3.7 miles across San Juan, connecting San Juan Bay, where Puerto Rico's busiest port is, to the inland San Jose Lagoon to the east, vital for the stormwater management of the adjacent Luis Muñoz Marin International Airport. It is part of the San Juan Bay estuary, recognized by the EPA for its national significance. From a 200 to 400 feet wide navigable channel, today it is barely 5 feet wide in some areas. Adjacent communities lack sewer systems, and the stormwater system is collapsed. The San Jose Lagoon has lost superficial area and depth, increasing the risk of floods at the airport and other communities throughout San Juan. As if history were to repeat itself, almost a century ago, after 2 major hurricanes and in the midst of an economic depression, peasants migrated to San Juan, and the wetlands along the Caño became home. Prior to Maria, the barrios, which survived decades of eviction and gentrification, were already a symbol of resiliency, empowerment, and grassroots organization. Residents engaged in an unprecedented participatory planning process that led to the creation of the Comprehensive Development Enlace Caño Martín Peña project. Since then, together with the public and private sectors, they moved forward an agenda of long-term resiliency that has the potential of transforming the city by reconnecting its navigable bodies of water. Recovering the Caño with participation means healthier and safer conditions for the residents, without fear of gentrification, thanks to an innovative community land trust recognized last year with the United Nations World Habitat Award. And then Irma and Maria struck. Close to 1,000 families lost totally or partially the roofs to their homes. Approximately 75 homes were totally destroyed. The communities experienced another severe flood with raw sewage, only that this time around it lasted for 4 days. Approximately half of the trees along the Caño fell, and together with the debris from the destroyed houses, further blocked the Caño and the storm sewers. Since Maria, it only takes 15 minutes of rain for floods to start. It even floods on a sunny day. We already have had 2 significant floods in the past 2 months, which have been affecting other areas of San Juan as well. Since Maria, water quality throughout the estuary has significantly worsened. The disturbance of the Caño and uncollected debris from streets caused a rat infestation and augmented the risk of mosquito-borne diseases. Alligators are approaching people's homes. Tarps and core-installed blue roofs are already in place. However, there is mold and water filtration. 15 years of organizing allowed for Enlace, the grassroots G8, and the Land Trust to work with partners and bring aid. However, the crisis is far from over. Now, imagine living in a state of never-ending crisis and trauma. Whole families sleeping on the floor, on the one room that does not get wet, after sleeping under the rain for many days in the capital city of Puerto Rico, San Juan. Using federal recovery funds to support initiatives like Enlace Caño Martín Peña project presents a unique opportunity for an emblematic recovery process that increases Puerto Rico's long-term resiliency and sound economic development. Investing in the ecosystem restoration of the Caño, infrastructure and related acquisitions and relocation supports equitable development and participatory democracy. There is already a credible and proven institutional and policy framework in place, and engaged community and partners, shovel-ready projects, and NEPA compliance for the ecosystem restoration piece elaborated under the Water Resources Development Act of 2007. Due to the current crisis, the Caño cannot keep waiting for ordinary processes to occur. At a time of severe political, economic, fiscal, and financial challenges, support from the U.S. federal government is crucial. That is why I urge Congress to pursue the inclusion of this project and all of its components in any upcoming disaster recovery bill for Puerto Rico. This project is necessary and should be a priority due to its serious repercussions in the San Juan Bay Estuary, public health, and safety. And finally, I want to stress the importance of ensuring that any funding related to Martín Peña or other communities in similar situation promote on-site resilient recovery rather than displacement and gentrification, and for assistance policies to be context-sensitive to allow for a just and equitable disaster recovery. We are concerned that FEMA individual assistance programs requiring families in need for housing to live outside the floodplain can make families in desperate need to leave their communities. When this happens in areas where resilient on-site alternatives are feasible and that have been under pressure of displacement and gentrification due to their strategic location, those who have struggled for their lands for decades can end up being uprooted. No person should live fearing the rain, and no community should be displaced when there is an alternative at hand. With your support, long-term solutions that also keep help Puerto Rico face its economic crisis, such as this project, will become a reality. On a future visit to Puerto Rico, I do invite you to come and visit the work we've done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.